I'm here with Ross Buchanan of Inishowen Forestry, and we're on a site now where we've got silt traps and a capture pond at the bottom for habitat and silt capture. So what we're looking at here is a forestry area that's been planted into an old Sitka plantation, and it's also catching nutrients from the wider area. So Ross, when was this replanted?
It was felled just about 2 years ago, and then it was replanted sort of a year and a half ago now, so we're just through the second growth season.
Okay. And it was all Sitka at
It was
time.
pure Sitka spruce here, wall to wall. It was a very different kind of landscape, very dark underneath, apart from this small band of oak that was left. And the landowner came and said he wanted to fell his spruce and he wanted to do something different, something for nature. So we came up with a design to utilise the Native Woodland Conservation Scheme to create a native woodland. And there was a really badly silted up drain down here, a wet area, and it was a perfect place to both capture silt and create a nice habitat for wildlife.
Lovely.
And also you've got really rich sediment piling off the surrounding arable land, so a lot of nutrients, and so hopefully it's doing something good for aquatic ecosystems further downstream.
So whenever those upland areas are tilled, they'll just generate a load of soil, and you're seeing that down here.
So there's sediment just running through the drains onto the site, and it's all been captured by a series of silt traps and then the pond. Okay,
so you've got your silt traps along the main drains.
Yeah.
And then the bigger pond then below.
And then a big pond that really slows down the flow and captures the silt. But it does mean that the pond's eutrophying significantly and will eutrofy. And I would say he's going to have to come in periodically with an excavator to keep it open. Right. But we'll see.
That's fair enough too.
Yeah, it's part of the process.
To catch the nutrients.
Yeah.
And tell me what trees, I see the Scots pine here beside us.
Yeah, so
what else have you got here?
Up here it's kind of, it's sessile oak, Scots pine, holly, rowan on the upland area, or the drier area. And you can actually almost see the boundary where it switches to wet woodland. So you've got alder, willow and common birch down there.
So there's a great mix of really good native species.
There's a really good mix of most of our native species here, and it's going to be a great spot for wildlife.
Lovely, very, very nice. Let's go down and take a look at the pond and we'll see what we can find.
All right.
So this is one of your silt traps, Ross?
This is one of the silt traps. So you've got the drain coming through here that supplies the pond, and the nutrients. There's so many nutrients, so much nutrient in the water that you can see it's completely vegetated up.
Yeah.
And this is just an open area where the stream was deepened to catch some of the silt before it hits the pond itself.
Lovely. And it looks quite clear. You know, I'm looking through and I can see the water starwort and other plants growing right in beneath the water surface.
Clear at present.
Looking lovely. Clear at present. Okay.
Yeah,
so in a high flow it'll go red.
High flow it changes. There's a lot of kind of silt coming out of these fields, and especially, as I say, when they're ploughed.
Yeah. Okay. And so here there isn't a dam as such. It's just a big scoop out there.
Big scoop out
to create the space. Okay.
Just to hold back any sediment before it hits the open water.
Yeah. Because one really cost-effective way to get a lot of water storage in there, if you want to do it, would just be to put in a big dam across here.
We actually did consider taking some of the logs that are left that weren't merchantable timber and shoving them in.
Okay.
So we did consider that.
Do you get high flows as well, or is it mostly just silt coming down?
High flows as in significant volumes?
Yeah, like the project that you're working on in North Inishowen. Or is it more just that it's silty?
It's not as bad. It's not like a flood risk or anything, but it can flood down here, beyond.
So an earthen bank here might be as good as anything.
Yeah.
Just I mean, if you wanted to raise up the groundwater in this section,
it could be done.
the base level as a way to catch more silt, if that was something that was desirable.
Yeah.
Or on any farm, if you weren't flooding anything else,
if you did it at the right time of year, it would soon vegetate over as well.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be a risk, as in for the water to carry more sediment out of the earthen bank.
Yeah, of course. Lovely stuff. Will we go and take a look at the pond itself? So the water comes in off the catchment, flows along through your drain areas, through your silt traps, and then down into the pond.
Down into the pond. This area was The pond was initially dug and then it was re-excavated to deepen it up here.
Okay.
Because of the amount of sediment that moves.
Yeah.
And,
Lovely.
and you can see how much it's eutrophying. There's an open channel of water and it's quite deep all the way around. That's an island in the middle, which was envisioned as kind of a place for birds to nest, you know, a predator-free zone. And it was lightly planted, a bit of willow around the edges, some Scots pine up on the top, so it'll be a nice feature.
Lovely.
And yeah, there's a lot of life's come into the pond already.
And I see we've bulrush pushing in on the edges and yellow flag iris.
Yeah, the owner took the bulrushes from another site and put them in. So he's really keen to augment the biodiversity where he can.
And by bringing in a sod of soil like that, you bring in all the seeds and all the insects and all the eggs and stuff like that. So it helps to bring in a load of biodiversity.
To inseminate the pond.
Lovely, exactly. Lovely stuff. No, it's looking really good.
Yeah,
very, very nice.
Yeah,
and it's looking lovely and clear here. I mean, right up close to the water.
Yeah, I mean it's our silt trap's doing the job. As I say, the worst time of year is when the fields are ploughed. That's when stuff really moves.
And you see it red right down to here even.
Yeah, you can see it stirred up brown.
Yeah, lovely. Will we take a look at the outlet section and have a go at that? Just looking, so here we've got the water. So it's come down through the catchment, around the pond, and it's coming out to the final
around the island,
drain here.
It's coming out. So the reason I put a pipe in, twofold. One, it's to continue the track, the walkway right around the site, but also it reduces erosion, you know, when water's moving through a pipe rather than hitting soil or sediment.
Okay.
Like a soil dam.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as safe for erosion as a pipe.
Yeah. Okay, good stuff. And of course it keeps the road drier, which is handy.
Well, yeah,
makes it possible to navigate easily.
Pass over it.
Yeah, and of course one way to raise this up would be to stick it, you know, if you bolted on a plank.
This was lower originally, and the owner wanted the water level up a bit.
Okay.
So before he raised the pipe to where it's at now, he had an old bin he used to stick in.
Okay, yeah.
It just worked perfectly to bring it up, which was fine whenever it was normal flow.
Yeah.
But when that's a 450mm pipe, which is quite a significant pipe.
Yeah.
You know, and the reason is that you do get substantial water coming in here during wet times.
When the bin was stuffed into place and there was a high flow, was it spilling over the track?
Yeah, it was starting to erode the track.
And it was actually starting to erode.
But he would actually come and take it out of the pipe whenever there was a flood event.
Yeah. And if we take a look at the other side, then we can see the splash deck, or the place where it goes down to.
Yeah, so it's.
Can I get past you there?
Oh wow, it's really silted up here.
There used to be a splash deck here, wasn't there?
Well, no, there's a big rock in it.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just to stop it eroding.
Lovely.
There's a bigger rock than that.
Is there?
Yeah.
Down in underneath.
There should be, I mean, unless it's washed away.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have a change of level here.
Okay. And would you consider, I mean, would there be merit, I wonder, in putting a small earthen dam here, or would you worry that it'd just get washed away? Does that flow full bore?
That can flow almost full bore.
Okay,
yeah.
fair enough. So anything that you might put here would just be
obliterated. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
The only thing you could, I mean, do you mean from the point of view of?
I suppose if there were eels in the catchment that wanted to wriggle up and get in, would there be merit in having a dam further down, maybe?
Yeah, or you can maybe build it up with riprap or something that would be resistant to.
Right. Okay.
To erosion.
And then would they climb up through that, do you reckon?
I don't know enough about eels.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
To be honest.
Okay. Lovely stuff.
But I don't think we have any eels here.
Yeah.
You know, the owner told me explicitly there were no fish in it or whatever.
And one way, what I'm observing as I look up through it, there's a gentle fall down through the whole thing. One way, I suppose, to help fish passage would be to tilt your culvert down slightly.
Yeah, you could do.
Kind of counterintuitively.
Yeah, you could bring it down here to this base level.
Okay. Yeah. Lovely. Lovely. Thank you very much, Ross.
No trouble. Something different.